Maggie's story has so many important lessons for us as dog owners, like the dangers of the growing trend of privately rehoming dogs online, and the importance of dog and owner compatibility. There's also the consequences of breeding dogs, and the dangers of trying to find a quick fix alternative for ongoing training and resilience building. We all know the classic lockdown puppy story. It all starts with a breeder who's only interested in the money they can make from exploiting and selling dogs. Like so many, Maggie was then passed between a number of unsuitable homes before her first birthday. She was around people whose lifestyle prioritised drug and alcohol use over meeting her needs, and she was desperately trying to show them what she needed with her behaviour. Instead of finding out what was making her frustrated and upset, instead of looking at her barking, spinning, lead wagging and lunging as symptoms of an unmet need, she was forced into unpleasant equipment, shoved into situations that were overwhelming and scary. It was everything that she didn't need, especially during adolescence. At this crucial age, from a basic neurological level, she's not capable of desensitising in the same way that a very young puppy or an adult dog would. So when placed in conditions that are going to be stressful, it really is going to be difficult for her to regulate her emotions. Lack of understanding around this is one of the main reasons we see so many adolescent dogs in rescue, and we'll cover that more in another video. Maggie was eventually sold to a well-meaning person who found her online and had no idea of the struggle she was already facing. Without a rescue involved, there were no assessments and there was no way to know for sure what they were taking on. They went to the vets for help, and at this point a behaviourist should really have been involved. Instead, they tried to treat her symptoms by sedating her with drugs like trazodone, Xanax and gabapentin all at once. None of these drugs are inherently bad, nor is layering medication appropriately, but the problem was the motive for giving them. They're not a replacement for the right emotional support, training and meeting her basic needs. With Maggie being shut away for long periods in a bathroom and the effects of the drugs potentially confusing her even more, the worry of not knowing where to turn sent her caregiver to a really bad place. The vet was on board with ending Maggie's life, and they just felt they had nowhere to turn. Thankfully, they were directed to the behaviourist at Court Anima and they knew exactly what to do. They asked for the medication to be stopped immediately, knowing that the problem was with her environment and a lack of understanding. They got in touch with us at Spirit of the Dog and explained everything. Our intake was temporarily closed in preparation for the build of our new kennel site, which isn't due to open until 2024. But one of the boarding kennels we worked with had space, so we picked her up and took her there where we could give her the help that she needed. Kennel life has presented its own struggles, but for the first time she had a set routine, reliable humans and no reason to be afraid. She is so sensitive to so many things in the outside world, but she found that the Bark Park woodland adventure could be her own paradise. A 5-acre, fully enclosed woodland that could be hired for her sole use. Those of you who've been following her story online will know how beneficial that freedom has been for her, and how grateful we are to the Bark Park team for donating so many sessions for her to enjoy. Behind the scenes, Maggie's been working really hard with her behaviourist at Court Anima and her trainer at All Four Paws. She's bonded to me like glue as her key volunteer, and she's built a lovely bond with her kennel carers. Her level of resilience and tolerance is seriously impressive considering what she's been put through. The crucial thing that we want to achieve with her behaviour support here is building up that resilience so that when life's little surprises do come along in adopted life, she can manage them more confidently. We're not trying to force her to stop her outward behaviours like lead wagging and jumping up, because they're symptoms of inner feelings. By helping her to find alternative outlets for big feelings, supporting her and showing her other choices available, those stressful behaviours are melting away. After 4 months in kennels, Maggie has progressed to a foster home and she's unrecognisable from the dog who left her previous home.
There are so many lessons, but I think the major one is people failing dogs, mislabeling dogs, and not understanding dogs. And when all of that is taken off of the table and you believe in the dog, you give them a chance, you understand them, you have the result of Maggie today.
Your support for Spirit of the Dog Rescue doesn't just mean the world to us and to dogs like Maggie. It means the world to people who are at their breaking point when they had to give their dogs up for rehoming in the first place. I've come back this evening from a lovely day with Maggie to an email that I think would be nice if everyone could hear. It says, "Hi, I've written so many letters, all deleted and not sent. I'm Maggie's previous owner. I took Maggie on after losing my first ever dog at age 2.5. It was a suspected brain hemorrhage. The vets couldn't save him. He was sedated and put to sleep in my arms. I'd never felt pain like it. Too soon after, Maggie was suggested to me, and I saw a beautiful thing that needed someone at a time when I was desperate for something too. I thought it was a sign we'd be able to fix each other, but I was naive and misguided. The information I was given about Maggie was not correct, and I was not experienced enough with dogs to recognise her needs. It sadly quickly became apparent that I was wrong for her. I really tried. I always described her as a newborn duckling. On day one, she latched onto me. She is such a snuggler. But she's also amazingly clever. Not something I was used to after my first dog, who was the most stupid dog in the world. I made time for the amount of exercise she needed, but that was never going to be enough for such a bright button who needed help in dealing with the world in a way that I'd never anticipated. When I gave up Maggie, I had a complete mental breakdown and 2 months off work. The complete guilt of failing her and having to deal with the bereavement of losing my other dog came crashing down around me. Over the months of watching her progress, I've wanted to comment. Some things said have been sad but true, but I kept reminding myself that all that matters is Maggie's future welfare and not my feelings. It's been amazing to silently watch her journey, the love she's seen and the happiness she's found. I know, although the love was there on my side, I could never have given Maggie what she needed. My only saving grace in my own sadness in her life is that I found core Anima and they found you. I don't think Maggie could have found a better and more loving place to understand her, prepare her and ensure that she has the best forever home. I know she's happy and is going to live her best life now. I can't express the love and gratitude I have for you and her perfect owner. I've never given up on an animal before, and previously I wouldn't have had any sympathy for anyone who had. I went into this with the best intentions, and only because of your help, it's ended well for Maggie. You're welcome to use anything I've said if it helps animals, makes people think more about animal welfare, or promotes animal charities that deal with the aftermath of such things.